Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun and I welcome you all back to the next character we'll talk about in this series of videos, talk about various newcomer ideas for the upcoming Smash Bros. Game on Nintendo Switch. We are 41 characters in. This video is character number 42, and as I mentioned in the Chibi Robo video just yesterday, this character is going to be the Octolings from Splatoon. Now, we know that the Inklings are going to be in the game. They were confirmed in the teaser trailer months ago for Smash Bros. 5, Smash Bros. Switch. And the chances of us getting the Inklings and the Octolings as two separate characters in that franchise, getting two characters in its first entry in Smash Bros. Is very unlikely. But I wanted to include the option here anyways. I wanted to talk about the Octolings and their potential for Smash Bros. And them as a potential newcomer for Smash Bros. Whether it's likely or not. Like, I want to give my thoughts, reasons for why they make sense, moveset ideas, and, percentage chance. So, it's a character that's probably not very likely, given that we already know the hero characters, the Inklings, are already going to be in Smash Bros. On Switch. And then including two characters is not very likely. But like I said, I'm talking about various newcomer ideas here. Third parties, retros, Nintendos, whatever. Characters that are very likely, characters that are not as likely, characters that are in the middle. I'm talking about all characters, and this is character number 42, the Octolings. More so importantly, the Octolings from the Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion DLC that's pretty much on its way out right now. Although I'm assuming the character I'm talking about right now, even though the main costumes would be the male and female Octolings from that DLC, the male-female evil villainous Octolings that have been around since the first Splatoon would probably be some alternate costume type models for the character anyway. So to get that out of the way, let's talk about the Octolings for Smash Bros. 5. And as always, 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense? What moveset ideas can I think of? And percentage chance I can see them getting in. Now basically, why does, excuse me here. I have to make sure I have everything on me. Okay, there we are. Why does the Octolings make sense for Smash Brothers? Why do the Octolings make sense to be at least alongside the Inklings in Smash Bros? To have the good guys and the bad guys, even though the Octolings I'm talking about right here are technically good guys, and not all Octolings are technically villains. So there you go. Kind of a stereotyping there, but whatever. Well, first and foremost, Splatoon has become one of Nintendo's biggest, newest IPs, and we already are getting the Inklings. The Inklings are already in, and they're already representing this big franchise that is bound to have a future with Nintendo. There's a first one on the Wii U. They made a sequel on the Switch. I wouldn't be surprised if a third one comes out on the Switch as well, and it's going to continue on future Nintendo systems. It's an ever-expanding franchise. There's so much more content they can do. It's a franchise that has a longevity future, just like ARMS, just like Xenoblade, just like all these new Nintendo IPs that have been coming out over the last X amount of years on the Wii U, on the 3DS, on the Switch now. Dylan's Rolling Western, Xenoblade Chronicles, ARMS, Splatoon. It's a Nintendo IP that's become hugely pushed and hugely advertised from them. It's one of their biggest, newest selling IPs they've got. And the Inklings are already in, so if you have the main hero, you could technically get the main villain. And it represents the new Octo Expansion DLC that's coming out on the Switch. So, marketing, advertising. Hey, people, you like the Octolings and Smash Bros.? You can play Splatoon 2 and you can download the ability to play them in a story mode Octo Expansion. Which Smash Bros. Is technically a marketing thing anyways. So it's like the characters they market are the characters that are basically being sold recently in games. So it's you like these characters in Smash Bros. There's these new games that have just recently come out or are coming out kind of thing. So it's like the reason why the Octolings make sense for Smash Bros. Is a marketing reason, because to represent the new DLC that's just now coming out, the Octo Expansion. It represents Splatoon 2 in 1, the whole series, because you have the hero, Octolings. The villain Octolings is a potential alternate costume type of thing. It represents the villains of this franchise, this new, ever-expanding Nintendo franchise that's one of the biggest, newest IPs recently. The Inklings are already in, and it's the villain representation. It's the main villain representation you really can get away with as a character, really, at least. And that's the reason why. They're not the best reasons. It's not the most top reasons for something like that, but it's like, it's reasons nonetheless. And I do think at least those reasons alone can at least dictate, Octolings being in the game somehow, whether they're their own character or not. That's anyone's guess. But it's like, it is another side of the Splatoon franchise, the villains, or at least in these cases, hero Octolings. So there you go. Let me just fix all my paperwork here. And now we're done with reasons why it makes sense. What moveset ideas could I see them, having? And I was trying to think, what moveset ideas could I give the Octolings if they were their own character that would differentiate them from what the Inklings are likely to get? The Inklings are likely to get the splatter shots, and the ink roll or something like the roller and the ink, the ink shot type stuff. The splatter shots, the rollers and stuff like that. I think that's basically where they're gonna go. So I tried to differentiate the type of weapon because there's hundreds and thousands of different weapons in Splatoon. Like what weapons and what moveset ideas could I give them that differentiates them from the Inklings? And basically, I had to do research on the Octo expansion because I'm specifically talking about the hero male and female, Octolings from the Octo expansion DLC, and I wanted to see what in the story mode was their weapon layout, like what's their default layout, and that's where I'm getting most of this stuff from. And I'm basically going to say the hero dualies and the hero brush are their smash attacks. The smash attacks will be, it'll be a down B thing, like I mentioned before, with like Alm using his two different swords and whatnot, switching out their smash attacks. Either you're going to use the hero dualies, which will be a double splatter shot gun thing, or the hero brush, which, if you play the game, you know how the freaking brush works. Just smacking someone with the brush and getting them with the ink and whatnot. And then the special attacks, I'm going to basically be giving them there's three main ones I did research on that are used by the Octoling inside the DLC story mode, and it's the inkjet, the burst bombs, and the tenta missiles. So those will all be special attacks. Like you'll be able to throw out the burst bombs, the inkjet, so you can hover around and fly type of thing, and you can get people with the ink and probably slow them down. And then the missiles, you can shoot the tenta missiles at an opponent. It's not the most differentiating thing. I think the smash attacks would differentiate more so than the special attacks this time, and that's weird because I've always stated that the smash attacks are the more generic options. But like I said, I'm assuming that the Inklings are going to get the splatter shot and the roller, so the dualies and the brush are different enough to make the smash attacks different from the Inklings to the Octolings type of thing. But some of these special attacks are kind of stuff that the Inklings would use too. The Inklings would more likely use the inkjet as well. They're going to use one form of the bombs, some of the missiles, the different abilities you can give your Inkling in the game or the multiplayer. Chances are ones that you use there would basically be used on the Inklings as well, and even then it's the same thing as what the Octolings use. Some of these are what the Inklings use as well. So it's kind of like, and it's kind of like that. I'm sorry, I heard something. And so the smash attacks are where the differentiating between where I think they're going with the Inklings and then what I'm saying with the Octolings. The special attacks are going to be having some similarities. And as for the final smash, I'm giving them the Kraken, because I'm assuming the Ink Strike would be the final smash for the Inklings. The Kraken will be the final smash for the Octolings. They just turn into the giant Kraken, and you just swim around the stage, just bashing into people, leaving ink behind you, slowing down your opponents, and just running them over as an Inkling, as your big giant Kraken self, and maybe knocking them off the stage, damaging them like left and right, swimming back and forth kind of thing. And that's basically what I would say for their final smash. So the smash attacks would basically be the brush and the dualies. The special attacks will basically be like the inkjet, the bombs and the missiles, tenta missiles and burst bombs, and the Kraken would be the final smash, which would differentiate how I think they're going with the Inklings, where it's going to be the brush and the splatter shot for the smash attacks. Some of the specials would be the same, like the inkjet and the bombs, and I'd say the Ink Strike would basically be the Inklings' final smash, versus what I think the Kraken would be the final smash for the Octolings. Now, in terms of percentage chance I can see them getting in, I'm giving them a 50% chance.